Hello, welcome to another episode of Feedback Friday, the series where we take a look at other creators' videos, see where they can improve, break down what's working, what's not working, so that they can grow and we can all have a constructive conversation we can all learn from. If we haven't met yet, I'm Genki Hagata, and on this channel I do my very best to help you learn and grow through friendly critiques and tutorials. Today we'll be looking at a video and doing a critique on a video by my friend Alejandro, and I want to let you know that before any of the videos that we review here on this channel, I always ask the creator about their work, what their intentions were, what they thought went well, what they could improve on, also that we could have a good perspective to critique the work through. I've seen some of Alejandro's work, his vlogs, his documentaries, and I have a good idea of what he's capable of and what he's been working on. So Alejandro's a software engineer. He's been doing photography and videography more or less as a hobby until about the last 18 months when he started to take it seriously. He also works on mixing his own music, writing, editing, all the things that you need to do to become an independent filmmaker. Now he's working mostly on storytelling and documentaries with the goal, at least in the next handful of years, to get into some top-tier film festivals. Today we're looking at a video by him that's a vlog that's mostly intended to give his family and friends an update from Thanksgiving, but like many of times when we're all doing vlogs, call it cinematic vlog, we're really practicing all the techniques that we use to do our other work, in his case, documentaries. This vlog is in Spanish, and I'll note that it's super awesome that Alejandro takes the time to make sure that all the English captions are there and correct so that us English speakers can enjoy the video, the vlog, along with him. So with that, let's take a look at the video. I always appreciate drone shots in vlogs, especially ones that are edited together really quickly, because I know how time consuming it can be to get the drone out, get it up there, and get those shots. So one of the things that Alejandro pointed out in the notes of this video is that he learned to pay a little bit more attention to where the camera is pointing, especially when the mic is mounted on top of the camera. It's something that happens a lot, especially if we have that setup where the mic is on top of the camera and you're pointing it to different things. In this case, he's pointing it here to the lasagna that his wife Caro is cooking. He pointed out in post that he had to do a little bit of audio leveling and a lot of cleaning up to get the audio levels to match from when he's pointing the camera at the lasagna here, or the food that she's cooking, and then back to her, because obviously when the camera and the mic's pointing at her, it's going to be louder than when it's pointed way off to the side at the food. Just something to pay attention to, especially when you're doing these run and gun vlog style things.
Clavo de olor y esto no tengo ya como.
Another note that he had asked a question was how he can manage white balance and skin tones, especially when you're mixing artificial light and daylight like he is here in this opening scene. We'll take a look after this in Resolve to some tricks we can do for not only just white balance, but specifically for skin tones.
Otro fin de semana fuimos a un parque.
Another thing that he's working on is pacing and B-roll. So taking a look at this scene, I think the pacing from the interior shot from cooking to going outside works just fine. We've got good sound design as the lower thirds come in, as well as the birds chirping. And I know that he's really happy that he got these shots of the birds, especially this owl, because, you know, getting good shots of birds isn't easy. It usually takes a lot of patience on location, and he got it. Kudos to that. I do like how you're mixing in the narrative storytelling with these B-roll shots that otherwise don't have a story to them yet, so you get that narrative. And then also the picture-in-picture thing is kind of nice. That we don't normally see that, so I'm liking it here.
Otro parque donde llegaron los cisnes. Siempre hemos ido ahí a ver pajaritos.
One thing to note here about these shots of the birds, especially these ones here that are in the same location, is that because we go from one bird on top of the tower to another bird on top of the tower, it's not really immediately apparent that they're two different birds. I would recommend either cutting in a different angle from a different location in between those two shots, or maybe zooming in on the second bird a little bit in post so that we can really emphasize that there's a difference between those two shots and it doesn't just look like a wobble or something.
No sabían que eso era hielo. Y aterrizaban sin las patas para caer en el agua.
There is an opportunity I see here, since one of your concerns is B-roll and storytelling aspect of things, is here when Caro's talking about how cold it was on location, I would really like to see some supporting footage that really shows how cold it was. There was a shot earlier where Caro, I think, had like a hat and like a scarf showing that it was cold outside. Mixing that shot with the dialogue here would help emphasize that it's actually cold outside. We do see this bird like walking on the frozen water, so that gives us an idea. But again, it's a little bit hard to tell that it's actually ice, so mixing in footage of someone actually being cold, maybe some footage of someone's breath being seen out in the air, that could work well here. These shots of the birds are great. I don't know if you tried to stabilize some of these shots in post. Some of them look a little bit shaky. Obviously, when you're shooting with a really long telephoto lens, that happens, but maybe a little bit of post stabilization could help there. Maybe not, sometimes it's hard to tell, but always worth trying.
Bueno, los gatos están muy estresados, como siempre. Aquí pueden ver a Tambor disfrutando del fin de semana. Como todos los días igual de flojo.
As far as the pacing of the story goes, the ending here is a little bit slow. As a cat person, I of course always enjoy watching cats be cats, but it's not as strong as the rest of the video. I think the relaxing part works well, especially if it might have been like the middle of the day and then you did something after, but I feel like this video could benefit from having something happen after the relaxing and the cats there. Overall, solid vlog. Again, love that you caption it so that we can understand as English speakers what's going on. A lot of amazing wildlife shots going in there, so kudos on spending the time to get those. Another opportunity that I saw throughout the whole video is an opportunity for more on-location live dialogue. In the beginning, we have Caro talking about what she's cooking, but then it just goes into all narration after the fact. Some dialogue being outside, again, something like, it's really cold outside, or look at that owl. I don't know, those are kind of cheesy examples, but you get what I'm saying. So while you're on location, getting some audio capture, so it's not just music and bird sounds at the end, even though bird sounds are hard to get, and you did a good job with that. Just something to help tie in the mood a little bit more on location, so it's not just narration after the fact, I think would help strengthen this video out quite a bit. So like I said, let's take a look at some color stuff. Like Alejandro said in his notes, he's interested in maybe fixing skin tones. He said color is not really his area of expertise, so he's constantly struggling with that, especially in those mixed lighting scenarios. Let's jump into Resolve and I'll show you a quick trick on how we can try to get those skin tones more accurate, if not perfect. I've got a couple of clips here and we'll take a look at how to adjust the skin tones properly. We have this clip here from the vlog we just watched, which is Alejandro's wife, Caro. And you can see that we've got a mix of daylight coming in plus artificial light, and the colors here aren't quite perfect. Of course, this is compressed footage that I got from YouTube, so the latitude and of adjustability, we don't have a lot, but the same principles apply, and it'll be easier to correct if it's the footage coming out of your camera. What you're going to want to do here in Resolve is open up your vector scope, which I have here. This white line here in the vector scope is the skin tone line, if you haven't seen that before. If it's not turned on, head over here to the settings for your vector scope and make sure that skin tone indicator is turned on. The next thing we need to do is isolate the skin tones in the scene. To do that, I'll make a new node, then hop over to the qualifier window, or the qualifier tab, and select our skin tones. Here it's masking out only the skin tones or the color areas that I'm selecting by clicking and dragging. If you don't see the mask in Resolve, make sure you have this window here, which is the highlight effects button, and then it'll show you only the colors that you want to see. Now when we look at our vector scope, we can see only the skin tones that we've selected, and they should line up with a skin tone bar in the vector scope itself. We can clearly see here that it's, well, quite a bit off. It's a lot towards the yellows. We want to add a little bit more red. There's a bunch of different ways we can do that, and I can dive more into that in a different, deeper tutorial on skin tones and color with a vector scope. Now we'll just head back over to our color wheels tab and simply grab the hue slider and shift it towards the skin tones. Now if we toggle off the highlight button and we show the full image, we'll have our image with the skin tones adjusted. You can see the before and the after. That quick adjustment there targets the skin tones, which are probably the most important thing in your scene like this. and just adds a correction layer just for this. Of course, if you want to apply that adjustment to the whole image and not just the skin tones, you can do so by hopping back over to the qualifier tab and resetting the qualifier on that node. By doing that, you'll see that up here we no longer have that gray mask around the skin tones, and that color adjustment is now applied to the whole scene instead of just the skin tones that we selected. Again, before and after. It's a subtle adjustment, but it helps a lot. So I hope you learned something. I hope you found that valuable. In the interest of feedback, let me know what you learned down in the comment section below. For more episodes of Feedback Friday, make sure to hit that subscribe button to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to have your video reviewed on this channel, you can find a link on how to do that in the description below. And lastly, if you want to join the Feedback family, a close-knit group of creators who are giving and receiving feedback to help each other grow, you can find a link to that in the description as well. If you made it this far, make sure to hit that like button, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.